Yeah, because here's the thing. I always tell young artists this too. It's like, I always tell
You're
young
good.
artists that because the reason I love artist development is that, oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, the reason why I love artist development is because I think that it's I love the baby steps, and even though you may not have this like quick thing where you like turn around and you have a million streams right away, it's like in the first day or a couple million streams, you're like, listen, like the fact that we made this, we put this out, and you have, I don't know, like 10,000 streams. I don't even know. My point is like those baby steps are actually very rewarding because I love it. And
Hmm.
like, think about it. It's like, I've worked with artists where I've asked producers of a certain caliber to get in with them. It's been like, no, 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 no. And then and then it's like, and then what happens like 6 months later when that producer like hears a song and the sound has transitioned to a point where they've grown in their art and now that person wants to work with them. That's a baby step. That's so cool. And I'm like, wow, that checks a box in a way that feels in a similar way than like an accolade does to me. To me,
Yeah, yeah.
it means like, oh wow, it means that I'm actually achieving something. Do you know what I mean?
A- Absolutely. And speaking on that, minus your, I'd say like official accolades, I mean, there's so many. We can talk about Super Lonely getting over 10 million views on TikTok, getting ranked number 14 on Spotify's global chart. So people understand that's global. So you had one of the top 15 songs in the world at the time on the biggest, DSP. So
Crazy.
what accomplishment, what milestone did you hit behind the scenes that felt the most, I guess, like comforting or most rewarding?
The more behind the scenes, sorry, say it one more time, the behind the
Sorry,
scenes.
so yeah, what like milestone did you accomplish that like happened behind the scenes? Maybe a song you wrote or a moment you had that you remember or you like hold very fond.
I mean, honestly, I feel like there's been a lot. Like, I mean, I'm lucky to have that. I feel like it always changes as my career progresses. You know what I mean? It's
Mm,
like,
yeah.
I mean, it all starts from like getting your first record deal, and then you're like, oh my God, I made it. And then you realize that you didn't make it at all. You're like,
No, you
hey,
just got a loan.
you're like, I'm really on the bench. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And with all these people, and then you meet these people, and then you're like introduced them, but like you realize just because you're a label artist, there's a million other label artists that like you're competing for their spots. Then you're on a whole nother thing, right? So behind the scenes, you're like, you have to now pick up to another challenge and like prove it when you're actually doing the songs, and like actually just get back to a place where you also can't make it about your ego, and you have to like be able to write from a very authentic place even though you may have moved up in your career. So it's a hard thing to like have your brain sort of operate, especially as a young person. So I think in
Hmm.
terms of like that still feels, but it does still feel like a milestone because you feel like you've achieved something to have people believe in you, right? So there's that. And I think that like in terms of like behind the scenes stuff, I think for me like the little stuff that I really love is like bringing a singer, for instance, like from like, you know, like a certain level in like their vocal production to like where it's like what they could do with or without you. Like for me,
Mm.
sounded like from the beginning, and then like what I could actually do to what the end result would be, and in that partnership and how the magic sort of progresses into what it becomes, because that's so rewarding. Or like just like knowing how like how real chemistry is, because when you find an artist that you have like serious chemistry with, it's like neither of you could have created that without each other.
Absolutely.
And so that's so rewarding, because I'm just like I said, you can write like on paper, you could write with the biggest person and talk about it all day long. Like, oh yeah, I wrote with da 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 da. It could sound impressive, but the song that you write with the most unknown person could be the biggest song of your career. For example, Benny, you know what I mean? Because it's just
Yeah.
like the chemistry, and that's a massive milestone to be like, wow, like that chemistry is something so valuable, and that I think that obviously means that you're achieving something in just the chemistry alone, because it's
Yeah,
like the
100%.
actual, like to me, I value that stuff, like for real, because I think I've learned how important it is, and that's, I always judge that now on anything I work on, because I'm always like, chemistry first. Like if I get along with you as a person, first and foremost, I mean, it's huge. It's like I need to know that like I fuck with you as a human, and that we can like, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that if I can't, then like what are we doing? If I can't even
Absolutely.
with you for like 20 minutes, then what are we? Why are like no?
Yeah, because the energy is going to translate on the song. You're not going to give it your all in the writing. He or she might not give it their all on the, executing the vocals. Man, I think you're a gem. Let me tell you, before we get to questions, I wanted to say that you are a gem. You are a gem because you're the type of individual that develops over, you're probably going to develop like 30 artists in your career. And
Oh,
you, like, the seeds of your labor are going to spread out globally. It's already in New Zealand, America. I mean, I don't
wow,
want to like
making me sound like
make you
such.
blush.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, make you sound
I'm
like what? I'm
kidding.
sorry.
You're like the seeds. I'm sorry, I took it there. You're like the seeds.
Ah,
And I was like, oh my God.
no.
I'm gonna have 30 babies.
No, I meant more in like one of my favorite songwriters, Esperanza Spalding, wrote a song called
I love her.
Cinnamon Tree.
Oh,
Esperanza is the one.
the one.
Cinnamon Tree, she talks about comparing a guy to a tree that basically grows cinnamon and then you sprinkle it everywhere. And it's like everyone you touch impacts more people. And she compares this individual. And so I think you're like a cinnamon tree where everything you're growing is getting sprinkled around in this person's album, New Zealand charts, US pop charts. And I think that, you're just, that's what I meant about your seeds. Hopefully that clarifies.
Oh, I got you. I think I'm
I
funny,
know.
but
You're funny. No, you are. You
um,
are. This has been super
so,
fun.
but no, seriously, I feel so lucky to have that. But I also have to say that like it hasn't been this like easy street road for me. Like, like I haven't had the kind of career where I'm like walk up to the plate and I'm like I've truly like hustled so hard that like I've like had massive anxiety and like I like one of the reasons I stopped touring too is because I had such bad anxiety. So like this stuff can actually really be hard on your mental health, and that's a whole nother subject. And not to be like a down,
Yeah.
but like I wanted to also talk to you. Like I'm doing like a new show called The Green Room, and it's all based on health. And it's like,
Okay.
and it's all with musicians that I work with. And I had this idea about basically giving people a raw and real look into like this songwriting process and what that can be in terms of like really breaking down how you really feel in a room and how a song gets created. Because like in a green room, you get stuff, obviously that's the whole idea of a green room, right? Like backstage, you hear all the shit, like the tea is spilled. So for me, I'm like, how do we put this into a place where people actually get a realistic look on how it is for an artist? Because it's like we wear it can be so hard and you see all these like sparkles and accolades and oh my God, but then behind the scenes it's like there's a lot that comes with it in terms of people saying, how do I make it? It's a lot on your mental health too.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like it was a really important platform to talk to the artists that have had success in front of people that can think about different aspects of anxiety and whatever they're going through, for people to watch and be like, wow, like if those people are experiencing it, then like I don't feel so bad for experiencing it, right? And I think that's
absolutely
to talk about.
Yeah, I will email Nadia and hopefully be able to get in touch with you about bringing that over to Dash. We do a lot of live video on Twitch, so we take a lot of shows, we'll produce them and execute them on Twitch, and we can also take the audio. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing we'll get to. I think that's amazing. A lot of people don't know about the mental songwriters. Like one of my favorite songs is Under the Bridge, Red Hot Chili Peppers. And, Anthony Kiedis, it's sad, but he tried to kill himself when he wrote that song. He went under a bridge in downtown LA. I might be messing up some of the facts, but he was shooting up or, trying to overdose. Instead of overdosing, he got inspired to say like, I don't ever want to feel. And so I think it's really important people understand, because like Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think that was their second album, meaning they had already gone #1 and toured the world, but his mental was still at a point where he tried to end it. And thank God, such a beautiful moment came. It's one of my favorite songs ever, and I'm sure everyone knows that song. But I think it's really, really important what you're doing, speaking to people, so these up and coming artists know like they're not alone. They're gonna struggle. I always tell artists, the more successful you are, the more sad you're gonna be. Just from what I've seen, like the two kind of coincide with each other. But I think as a songwriter, you do avoid a lot of that because you don't go on blogs. If someone's mad at the way, Noah Cyrus's July sounds, they're not going to DM you. They're not going to be like, hey, Jenna, I can't believe you put this trash out there. But they might go to Noah for no reason,
They do.
What? Ignore it. Don't listen to any of it. Trolls and trolls,
but you know what it is though, like but no, you are as sad as a song. But it's not even about being sad. I'm saying, because to me, like, what's so beautiful about being a songwriter and being a creative person is that you're able to connect your emotion into a song that somebody else can connect with. So like it's actually so important for artists to really feel vulnerable to communicate that stuff and not make music just for you. Like, if you make music selfishly, it probably means that no one else is going to want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be like empathetic in that as well, and understand that like you're communicating an emotion that probably a lot of people can relate to, is what I'm trying to say. And so when you ask me to start with, like, hey, like, what do you suggest for young artists coming up? Like, I'm just saying this stuff can be really hard, and I think very discouraging. And sometimes, like, even as a songwriter, like, people might say you suck. Like, even from the business, you may have a million no's, like, and also you may not have money. Like, maybe you have to go busk. Like, who knows? I used to have to live off like $10 a week, and like, dude, it's like, and the thing is like, you got to just keep it alive at the end of the day. And what I'm saying, that's what it takes. I really think that. So
I agree 100%. Like, if you look at like a lawyer, they go 5 years into their schooling and they're like, this is getting hard, I'm done. You're never going to see that pinnacle of like becoming an attorney and whatnot. And so same as a musician, songwriter, I'd say you just got to keep going. You really got to find a way to keep that going. Now I want to get to some of these questions. We've had some cool ones.
okay.
X Life of X said, "Hi Jenna, do you offer artist development or songwriting training in Los Angeles?"
I mean, I don't, well, first of all, I'm not in Los Angeles right now. I do live there part of the time usually, but obviously given the circumstances, I'm not there at the moment. But, you know, I don't do that, but I am very like active on social media and totally down to, like, if you DM me or if there's something that makes sense to do like a private one-on-one or something like that, I'm always like open to that stuff. I always love the give back, or like to be able to help. In fact, with the Green Room series that I have, there's a nonprofit that I took on, or that I added as like, I ask people to donate to after each episode, called Music Forward. And Music Forward is basically, it helps kids, underdeveloped kids, or just people that don't have the resources, and give them resources and give them a platform to help sort of develop themselves. So that's something that they can look into. It's called Music Forward.
Music Forward. Okay. Wow. God,
Yeah.
you are a gem, like, to the entire music industry, the people coming up, the people who are releasing these songs. Incredible. J_Zamo asks, how was her experience working with K-pop?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because I literally just like,
No problem.
I literally like work with, like, when I did those songs, they were songs that were pitched to Girls' Generation, so it wasn't something that I like wrote for, like, specifically for. It was one of those examples where, again, I wrote the song and it just made sense for Girls' Generation, which is one of the K-pop things that I've worked on. And it's actually funny that you asked, because I'm now like writing for another K-pop group right now. This group
There we
called
go.
TXT, which is like, now, because I haven't like all of the K-pop cuts that I've had, like this girl Hitomi, I don't know if is she, I can't remember, actually she may not be, but I know for sure Girls' Generation. But although those cuts have been just through songs that I'd written that they heard and wanted to cut, and that was an example where I really liked them. I thought they were cool, so I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
That's awesome. And you know what's crazy about K-pop? A lot of people don't realize the impact it has. K-pop's huge. K-pop is huge. And shout out to all the K-pop fans who are doing all that social work on Twitter. I love it.
Look, BTS, it's crazy.
Yeah, they have an incredible fan base. If you tweet a lot or go on Twitter, they flood every hashtag with their favorite artists. And I've come to learn, it's not even the label, it's these artists' fans are that dedicated.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So let me get to, we have two more questions we'll knock out. How do you get inspiration for a songwriting session?
How do I get inspiration for? So I mean, it really all depends. I mean, for me, I always like to sort of go into the room sort of like open, and just same way that I would when I first meet somebody, or like, you know, I like, you know, I just want to keep my heart open and like open for the relation, hear them out. Like, and especially if I'm writing with someone, I just want to feel that conversation out and really like be in the moment and present and suck up all that, sort of like be inspired by whatever that may, whether it be their story, whether it be mine, whether it be the stories connecting together and us relating, like that's something that I do. And if it's for like something that I work on beforehand, usually like all, you know, it's funny. It's like you'll say something in a conversation like we're having, and I'm like, oh my God, that'd be the craziest song title. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
I mean, it's like what do they say? Keep it simple, stupid, right? It's kind of like
Absolutely.
people relate to stuff that's exactly very human, and there's a reason they relate. So
Yeah, there's a reason why love songs do so good, because everyone falls in and out of love, you know?
exactly.
This is one of my favorite questions that I definitely want to get to. Which artist would you like to work with in the future?
I would love. I mean, I met her briefly, Lady Gaga. I met her a couple times, but I'd love to. I haven't worked with her, and I'd love to. I mean, I love her voice, and I think she's amazing, creative. So I would love to.
Incredible. Incredible. You know, she shot her last video on the iPhone 11. I contacted every artist I know. I said, I don't want to hear any more excuses about music videos. Lady Gaga just used the iPhone.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, it's going to happen. You know what? From what you've been telling me, you are a hustler. I'm fully convinced you could have accomplished whatever it is you wanted to accomplish on this earth. And it's not like that might happen. You will, right, with Lady Gaga, because you know she's not going anywhere. I know you're not going anywhere, and I'm glad you put that out there.
Yeah.
Do you have any last message to your fans watching, to the up-and-coming songwriters who are going to be viewing this as it, you know, gets shared to YouTube, posted on IGTV? Any last piece of advice you want to give to anybody?
I mean, I guess I would just say that again, just sort of reinstate what I was saying before. Is just like, I think, especially now where the world's at, you know, to sort of be able to just kind of follow what feels right intuitively, and like be able to just make art from a real place, you know, and just be able to like, and just, I just would say like not to give up, and just all this, honestly, I feel like everything that I've said is so relevant. And in terms of like, when it comes to me, like I said, I love to be able to take part in like, especially the future generation. And I love development. That's like literally my favorite thing. And like what I like more than working with big artists, right? It's like, the only reason I even say Lady Gaga is because I really love her voice, but it's like, for me, my whole thing is like working with unknown people and making them something. So for me, if I were to give any advice to anybody, is like, reach out to people like me, and like, you know, and just like, I don't know, just keep the dream alive. Like, shit happens, you know, life is hard, but art is a beautiful thing, and it's something that we're given that's like no one can take from you, no matter what. That's like a very actually important advice, I think, that I learned early on, where someone's like, okay, if you were to take everything away from your life, like money, like whatever you're signed to, let's say whatever, bad deal, you know, the one thing no one can take away from you is your talent. Nobody. There's just you, right? Like, no one can take that.
Yeah.
So I
Amen.
mean, like, all like, but I feel like that actually made me feel so good, though, because I feel like at the end of the day, I'm like, you're right. Like, that's a lot. That's actually pretty powerful. Like,
Absolutely.
like, they'll never have. So that's fucking amazing.
Yeah. They can't take that from you. It's yours. Your IP is,
it's
you know.
Mine. Really
Man,
mine. Like,
you're so. I have to drop a quote really quick, because I feel like this quote speaks volumes. Variety named you the Hitmaker of the Month, and they said Andrews is in a position not only to follow her own creative compass, but to also ensure that young female artists under her purview never have to compromise. And the new Nine said Jenna Andrews is exactly who young women should look up to. And I think that that's 100% accurate. And I want to thank you, as a fan of music, for everything you've done for the up and coming artists, the next generation. I think your biggest impact will be creating the next Lady Gaga, creating the next phenom. And I think in no time, you're going to have 100 songwriters under you. You're like in my eyes, like, no more Dr. Luke. It's like Dr. Andrews.
Dr. Andrews.
Shout out Dr. Luke, but Dr. Andrews is on the way.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. My dad's a psychologist, and he's Dr. Andrews. I guess there's two Dr. Andrews in the house. Dr. Andrews.
There we go. Let's go. Thank you so much for.
Down.
I wish I could do the.
I know.
Ali G. Booyakasha.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it.
I love it.
Thank you so much for joining us. Anyone who wants to rewatch this will be on IGTV. Give it a few minutes, it'll save. We'll have it on our YouTube soon as well. I want to apologize to you for all the DMs you're about to get, because a bunch of up-and-coming artists are about to be
No,
DMing you demos and stuff.
and also
There we go.
Go to the green room talks, because I'm serious. Mental health is a real thing. And like, honestly, guys, I feel like it's something that I'm going to continue to do weekly with a bunch of really cool artists. And that's a really good opportunity to also connect to those artists and also just see what people are going through. And just like, it's a really good time to sort of feel on the same playing field as everybody. I think we're all in a position now this year to feel like, wow, like we're literally all in the same boat. So
yeah, everyone's
DM
locked
me.
in.
Ready.
All right, X Life of X is gonna DM you some songs. A handful of people in here. So we're just gonna end it on Courtney May Lai Nay said Jenna is the best in the industry. 3 exclamation points.
Oh, Courtney,
I agree with her.
By the way, Courtney is my girl. I freaking love her. She's always such a good supporter.
Shout out Courtney. All the supporters too. Everyone support these artists right now. These are the times to really support your favorite artist. Absolutely. Thank you so much again for all your time. My name was Maiwan. We're going to love to have you at Dash Radio. Anytime you're in LA, you have a home at Dash. We have a 3-story facility. If you want to come play basketball, shoot a radio interview, come do a performance, you reach out. And I will reach out to Nadia and yourself to speak more about the green room as well, to see if you guys are interested in, tying that in with our audience. So thank you again so much.
You. All right.
And to another successful 10 years, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody who tapped in. Everybody still watching, so you guys know, Dash Radio is a 100% free, commercial-less radio platform, the biggest in the world. We got stations from Young Money to Ice Cube's Big 3 to Snoop Dogg has a handful of stations, and the list goes on. Please download Dash Radio. Go to dashradio.com. What we do is we curate the music for you, so you don't have to keep clicking on the same playlist on Spotify. Why don't you click on a Dash station? And every station is created by actual human beings. There's no algorithm involved. So definitely check out Dash Radio if you haven't already. Sign up for our newsletter so you can hear about more interviews happening. We do a lot of giveaways. Check out this Friday. We're doing a giveaway with Beat of the Week. If you think you can rap, download Beat of the Week. Check out their page. They're giving up to $500 away to the best rap verse. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Please check out Dash Radio. You can rewatch this whole interview on IG Live coming up shortly. God bless everybody.